full circle back to fear. So possession, demons, the devil, all of these things are things that we have built up this mighty fear around. Bottom line, this is the fear that's keeping you from interacting with your gift. Bottom line, this fear alone will keep you from really fully participating in your intuition. You don't have to believe everything I'm saying. I strongly encourage you to not believe everything I say. Do your own research. Study with yourself what feels right to you. But do it with an open mind. That's the only thing I'm asking you to do, is do this searching of your soul and of all the information you can find with an open mind and the understanding that you might not have been given the right information right out of the gate. And because you were given wrong information, you might have an entire belief system built up around a lie. I'm not saying you should abandon religion. I'm saying just specifically about evil and the devil. Yes, there are very bad things out there. It is very, very hard to get an attachment to you. It really is. You have to do some pretty out there things for something to become attached to you, or for you to be possessed, or honestly, it's a pretty rare thing to even move into a place that has something truly evil. Most of the time it's just dead people that need to be crossed over. So we've already talked about all that. I'm not going to rehash it. I'm just saying that if you can truly do some soul searching around why you're as afraid as you are, and then take this information and do more research yourself, how much better are you going to be connected to your intuition once you're able to finally put to bed this crazy fear that all of us were ingrained with as children, that still gets perpetuated in Paranormal Activity movies number 368 and The Exorcist, or The Return of the Exorcist, or The Exorcist Part 2. Yeah, it just needs to be put into a reasonable category. I had a therapist one time when I was going through a really, really hard time in my life, and I have anxiety anyway, and I tend to catastrophize things. And at the time, I was so, my life was falling apart. I was getting divorced. My kids were little. It was really, really a rough time. And I had created so much more anxiety for myself trying to figure out answers to problems that hadn't happened yet. And I had this wonderful Indian lady therapist who I wish I could go back and thank her now, because she gave me a tiny piece of advice that radically changed my life. She stopped me when I was going off on a tangent about something that the outcome was such a slim possibility. While it was still possible, it was not probable. And she just kept asking me the question, and then what? X is going to happen. Okay, and then what would you do? I would do Y. And then what would happen? I would do Z. And then what would happen? I would do 1. And by the time we got to the end, I had resolved the issue that really wasn't as big a deal as I had made it in my head. That's all I'm saying we've done with demons and Satan and evil. We can acknowledge the problem exists. There's definitely bad things out there. But we built them up to be something that they aren't. And by building them up like that, we've given them power they don't deserve. That's all. Just that.